Hi guys, welcome back to Spelling and Word Study. My name is Mrs. Rhoades and I'm here to get you started on Unit 9, the IVE ending. Please take a second to gather your materials. You'll need your green book open to page 59. You'll also need some colorful pencils, crayons, or markers. Remember, whatever I mark up on the board, you should be marking on your paper. Please save room for a key. If you don't have space on this page, another sheet of paper is fine. If at any point I'm moving too fast, please pause the video and catch up. All right, so we are in the middle of a unit about derivational suffixes. We're learning about different endings that can be added to a word to change its part of speech. So last week you learned about the suffix ment, M-E-N-T. You learned that if you add that to the end of a word, it can change a verb to a noun. So judge becomes judgment. Manage becomes management. This week we're learning another ending, IVE. And you'll notice this ending usually takes a verb and turns it into an adjective. So for instance, if you compete, you are competitive. If you cooperate, you are cooperative. If you destroy things, you are destructive. Okay? So I want you to think about those verbs as we read the adjectives. So please repeat after me. Adhesive, aggressive, alternative, assertive, competitive, comprehensive, consecutive, cooperative, decorative, destructive, excessive, executive, extensive, figurative, imaginative, informative, interactive, possessive, primitive, and representative. Lots of big words this week, but we're not scared because the first thing we're going to do is take these big words and break them into manageable chunks called syllables. So starting with adhesive, we're going to slice after the D and the E. Aggressive, between the G's, between the S's. Alternative, assertive, competitive, comprehensive, consecutive, cooperative, 5 syllables there, decorative, destructive, I think that one I'd slice after the E, destructive, excessive after the X, between the S's, executive, extensive, figurative, imaginative, informative, interactive, possessive, primitive, representative. All right. Red vertical line equals syllable break. Okay, choose a second color and quickly we're going to put a check mark above our stressed syllable. That's the one we say a little bit louder than the rest. So adhesive, aggressive, alternative, assertive, competitive, comprehensive, this time it's the third syllable, consecutive, cooperative, decorative, first syllable, destructive, excessive, executive, extensive, figurative, imaginative, informative, interactive, third syllable, possessive, primitive, first syllable, and representative, third syllable. Purple check mark equals stressed syllable. Okay, Now I want to look for some prefixes. There are a whole bunch here, so we're just going to focus on a few of the most common ones. The prefix AD can mean towards. So if you think about an adhesive, it makes things adhere or stick together, right? So when things adhere, they move towards each other, right? So ad means towards. Same thing with AG. They both come from the same prefix. That also means towards. So if you're aggressive towards someone, you're like ready to fight them in their face. Com means with. So when you compete, you are like playing a game with someone or entering a contest with someone, you are competing with them. Co comes from that same prefix. It means with or together. So when you cooperate, you are working together to get a job done. Let's also talk about D. D means away, right? Like if you dethrone someone, you take away their throne. If you declaw a cat, you take away its claws. If you deodorize a room, you take away the odor. So if you destruct something, that's the opposite of construct, right? You're whatever structure was built, now you are taking it away. You are knocking it over. You are destroying it. What else do we have? X means out. If something's excessive, it's too much. It's out of control. And then inter means between, right? So if a game is interactive, that means you and the game are working together, but like the game is going between the two of you. So all of these are prefixes. And like I said, there are some other ones, but this is just a quick review. And then what I want you to do now is I want you to notice our suffixes. I told you that the verb was adhere, right? If something adheres well, if it sticks well, it is adhesive, okay? I don't think that there's a verb called aggress. You don't aggress at someone, but sometimes words just fall out of use. If something alternates, it is an alternative. If you speak up for yourself, you assert yourself, you are being assertive. So assertive means you speak up, or you tend to speak up. That's your personality. If you like to compete, you are competitive. This word doesn't really mean what you would think it means, right? You think, well, if you can comprehend stuff, you must be comprehensive, but that's not true. If something's comprehensive, it means like all included, it's complete, right? Like you get the comprehensive training or the comprehensive set. It means you get the whole thing. Consecutive, again, consecute isn't a word, but consecutive means in order. If you cooperate, it means you're cooperative. You get along well with others. You work well. If something's decorative, it's just for decorating, right? It just looks good. It has no practical purpose. It's just decorative. If someone's destructive, they like to destroy things, or they tend to destroy things. And excess is too much. So if you are excessive, you're too much, right? Like we talk about excessive spending, we're spending too much money, or excessive heat, it's just too hot outside. An executive is kind of like a boss in the business world. So that doesn't really follow the other patterns here. But if you are an executive, you probably work in an office and have an important job. If something's extensive, it covers a lot of ground because it comes from the word extend, which means to stretch out. So if something's extensive, it covers a lot. If something's figurative, it's a figure of speech, right? We're not supposed to take it literally. If someone's imaginative, they like to imagine things. If something's informative, it informs us, it teaches us stuff. If something's interactive, we can interact with it. If someone's possessive, they're like jealous. They want to keep things for themselves. They don't want to share, right? If you're possessive, you don't want to share. If something's primitive, it means that it's like old and basic, right? Like think about like caveman tools, okay? They're old and basic. They were used a long time ago. And then a representative is a person who represents their town or their state or their district, okay? In all of these cases, that green box is a derivational suffix. And in most cases, what it's doing is it's taking a verb and changing it to an adjective. Although we can see here, sometimes it also takes a verb and changes it to a noun, okay? One last thing I want you to notice. Last week when you added the suffix meant to everything, because meant starts with a consonant, you didn't have to drop any E's. You guys are used to dropping the E when you add an ing ending or an ed ending because they both start with a vowel. Well, the same thing happens this week. Because the IVE suffix starts with a vowel, we have to drop the E in cooperate. We have to drop the E in decorate. We have to drop the E in compete, okay? So just keep that in mind. Any of these suffixes that start with a vowel, you have to drop the E on your base word, okay? One last thing. Your root this week is GRESS, okay? GRESS means to step or walk forward. So if you think about someone who's aggressive, they're gonna like get in your face, right? But think about words like progress. If you're making progress, you're moving forward, right? If you progress through the grades or you follow a progression, you're following a pattern step by step. So when you get to page 62, you're gonna find a bunch of words that have GRESS. You're also gonna find words that have GRAD. GRAD is another Latin root that kind of means the same thing, right? So like graduate. When you graduate, you're taking that next step. You're done with high school and now you're moving on to your next step. Okay. Lots of big words this week, but I know you guys can handle it. Good luck, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.